Evening, everybody. I'd like to call the City Council meeting, the October 6th City Council meeting for the City of Cannon Falls to order. Could we have roll call, please?
Bringold.
Here.
Duncan.
Here.
Gesme.
Here.
Lundell.
Here.
Matson.
Here.
Montgomery.
He's up there.
He's up there.
He's there. Oh,
Altoff.
Here. Would you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Duncan, second by Lundell. Approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, we'll get right into the consent agenda. Consent agenda items may be adopted under one motion as presented, or may be removed for discussion and resolution as council business. For you at home and in the audience, I'll go through the consent agenda. Bear with me, it's a long agenda. Item A, just and correct claims for the accounting period ending September 20th, 2020.
30th.
Item B, minute meetings for the September 15th, 2020 City Council meeting. Item C, compact truck loader trade. Item D, disposal of a 1984 GMC truck. Item E, Resolution 2507, accepting a grant of $5,000 from the Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation to the EDA. Item F, replacement roof on the vehicle building at the waste treatment plant. Item G, Resolution 2508, designating polling places for 2021. Item H, Resolution 2509, adopting the general election judges for 2020 and the special election judges for 2021 and setting the hourly wages. Item I, November City Council meeting changes. Item J, City Administrator 6-month review and step increase. Item K, Resolution 2510, approving a variance for Kenneth Adams at 302 Ridgecrest Drive. L, Resolution 2511, approving a conditional use permit for John and June Christensen at 103 West Dakota Street. Item M, approve a new tobacco license for Cannon Fuel. Item N, approve a temporary liquor license for the Cannon Valley Fair. Item O, approve a temporary liquor license for the VFW Post 4452. Item P, Resolution 2512, accepting a donation of $1,531.41 from the United Way of Goodhue County to the library. And Q, disposal of a 2010 Horton ambulance. There you have it. Is there anything the council would like to pull down?
I make a
Anything?
motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
There's been a motion by Gesme and a second by Duncan to approve the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Oh, that was Matt. Okay, motion passes. Okay, we'll get right into council business. Item A is an RFP for legal services. I'll let you take that, Neil.
A few months ago, we discussed RFP for legal services, and the council decided to pursue the RFP. There's two parts to the legal services that we typically use. One is the civil services and one is the criminal services. I contacted Goodhue County for a quote on prosecution services. This is for the misdemeanor portion of the there's felonies that they already do, and then the juveniles that they already do, so the misdemeanors. The average cost over the last 4 years for prosecution services that we've paid is approximately $36,000 annually. The quote in your packet from Goodhue County for prosecution services for 2021 and 2022 is for $14,430 and $14,718 for 21 and 22. That's a savings of approximately $42,000 over the next 2 years. The Finance Committee reviewed this and made a recommendation to proceed with the contract for Goodhue County over the next 2 years. They typically do a 3-year contract, but if we do this, they want to get on the same schedule as all the other cities that they represent. So that's the one side of it. The other side of it is you'll find in your packets an RFP for civil services. We'll typically do the same process as we did with the engineering services and interview, send it out for a month, collect back the RFPs, do some interviews as we did, and choose one after that. So what the staff is requesting and the Finance Committee's recommendation is to approve the Goodhue County contract for misdemeanor prosecution services and send the RFP out for civil services.
Is there any discussion on that or a motion to do that?
I'll make a motion that we accept this.
That we go with the county
Exactly. Go with the county for the criminal and
criminal.
look
and
out elsewhere with the
put a
civil.
RFP out for civil.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Motion by Bringle, a second by Duncan. Is there any other discussion on that? I will say that I have reached out to all the attorneys in town, and they are all interested in doing the civil end of it, so we'll see what happens there. But okay, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, item B, C, D, and E. We're first reading of these, item B is introduction and first reading of Ordinance 370, which establishes a police commission. Neil, you want to just give us a little background on that? Or maybe on all four of them.
Yeah, we can start with the Ordinance 370, which is establishing a police commission. Once again, the Finance Committee reviewed actually all four of these ordinances and put together their thoughts, and we had, I think, 2 meetings on it, and we established some basic duties and memberships of all 4 of these ordinances. What we're looking to do today is to approve the Police Commission, the Cable Commission, the Finance Committee, and the Public Works Commission. As you recall, before I got here, it was probably back in January, you guys did a goal setting and appointments meeting that brought these ordinances or commissions that they weren't approved in the adoption of the Code of Ordinances back in whenever.
2014, yeah.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're just getting it upright, and we're getting them so they meet code, and so we're going to move forward. This will be the last of them. We did the park board here, last meeting or the meeting before, so If there's any questions on the police commission, you can see the duties. It's to hire and recommend the hire of the police chief and the officers to assist the council in planning and research, take under advisement and study and hold meetings, and make recommendations to the city council on police and police-related matters. Item D, the commission shall not have jurisdiction over the employment, promotion, discharge, or suspension of police department employees. They'll serve at staggered 3-year terms, and they'll meet quarterly or as needed.
My one question, it says 3-year terms, but what if you're only elected as a council member as a 2-year seat? Would you continue serving for 1 more year, or how would that work?
Well, I guess maybe I can take a stab at that. Almost every year, as for council members, the mayor makes appointments to each committee, so I don't think we'd run into that problem,
You
but,
just take someone off.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in January, we usually go through and make necessary changes.
A question about D. The commission does not have jurisdiction over employment, promotion, discharge, or suspension. Who does?
City council.
Okay.
The entire, yeah.
Do you want a motion to move on to a second reading on each commission?
Yeah.
Okay, a motion to, or any other discussion on the police commission? Then I take a motion to move it on for a second reading.
I'll move to approve ordinance number 370.
Second.
Motion by Bill, a second by Gesme to move the ordinance on for a second reading. All in or any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The next one is the Cable Commission.
Same thing. This is another one of the ordinances that we have to get updated. The Cable Commission, I did talk to Mike Gesme. He's the longtime cable director. He was great help when I needed to put this together. The Cable Commission is 5 members total, 1 Cannon Falls resident, 2 members of the City Council, the Cable Director, and the City Administrator. The Cable Commission duties are as follows: oversee and provide advisement to the Cable Department, be the liaison to the City Council for current activities, oversee the cable franchise administration and renewals, make recommendations to the City Council on department budget, personnel, and equipment purchase, and they will meet as needed.
Any discussion? A motion to pass the Cable Commission on to a second reading? Second?
I'll second.
Second by, motion by Bringle, second by Duncan, to move it on for a second reading. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, Finance Committee.
Finance Committee was established back in January, I believe, and what you see in front of you are the duties that was just pulled off the resolution that was approved back then. You just set these up, so I carried them through and put them in ordinance form. We did reduce the membership from 4 to 3. Let's see, no, the membership shall include 2 members of the City Council and the mayor in it, and that's a reduction. So, and the Finance Committee will meet quarterly or as needed, and they will review the annual budget, utility rates and charges, labor contracts, capital planning, infrastructure financing plans, tax levy, employee compensation, debt financing, professional services contracts, and other financial matters as may be referred by City Council.
Any discussion on that, the Finance Committee? Okay, could I have a motion to move ordinance 372, Finance Committee, onto a second reading?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Gizme, a second by Duncan to move it, the Finance Committee ordinance to a second reading. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And last, Public Works.
Same thing as the previous ordinances. This one will consist of 3 members, 2 members of the city council and 1 resident. The duties will oversee and make recommendations to the city council on projects in the street, stormwater, sewer, and water departments. The old Public Works Commission had parks in there, but now we have a park board, so I removed that to have the park board take care of that. Make recommendations to the city council on the department budget, personnel, and equipment purchases, and be in an advisory position to the city council. They shall meet monthly or as needed.
Okay, is there a motion to move the Public Works Commission ordinance 373 to a second reading?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mattson, a second by Bringold to move the Public Works Commission onto a second reading. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Passes 5-1.
I think
Or
there was
was that
just a
a-
delay. I think it was just a delay. You can check with them, but.
I think it's a delay. I did not vote no.
Okay,
Thanks,
it
Matt.
passes 6-0. Okay. Item F, the Third Street feasibility study. Neil, you want to start with that one?
Sure. The 3rd Street Bridge is going to be restored next year, and on that bridge, we have a 6-inch cast iron water main wrapped in insulation. It's been there for a very, very long time. One of the things that we have been discussing is options to either bury that main under the river, redo the water main on the bridge and have it re-insulated and new brackets built. Bill Angerman from WHKS is here to answer any questions. But in order to get started, we got to do a couple of things and do a study. We don't know the depth of the bedrock under the river. If I know there was a gas line that was bored a year or so ago, was it? And they did get that bored under there. We were in contact with them, and they didn't do any borings. It would have been nice if they would have done the borings. It would have saved us a few bucks. But what this contract is going to do is they're going to study whether we should hang it off the bridge, install new brackets. The restoration of the bridge will actually pay for the insulation and the wrapping. But in talkings with Bill Angerman, our engineer, it looks like that's a 6-inch hanging on there now. It probably should be an 8-inch, and an 8-inch is twice as heavy as a 6-inch. And we don't think the brackets will make that weight limit. And so I think the main goal is, if it's reasonable enough, is to get the thing under the river and be done with it. But one of the things we have to do is get some borings done to make sure that we can get the boring through the sand and not hit bedrock. So with
Neil-
that said, Bill is out here if you got questions for Bill.
Neil, didn't they have, when we first started talking about this, I thought we got a grant or something to look into that? No, this is a few years ago now.
Oh.
But obviously, you've never seen nothing on it.
Well, I have a question for Bill. if you find that we would go under the river, which I agree is probably the better route, would you be drilling pretty close to where the gas line went under?
Potentially, that's one of the things we'll look at. So we, at this point, don't actually know where the gas main is exactly. We know it's on the east side of the bridge, but we'll continue to work with Minnesota Energy to get their drawings and show where that is.
Because I know that drilling worked pretty slick when they did that.
Yeah, I talked to the gas company, and they actually bored a 14-inch hole under the river, and it was nothing but sand. It was a very easy dig, and, they put an 8-inch gas line in there. I don't know if we can be so lucky, but we'll have to take soil borings and find
Right,
out.
that's the goal right there, yep. That is exactly the goal, get it off the bridge. And one of the things that Neil and I talked about also is that if we could not drill under, we'd have to consider a third option, is just not putting it back on the bridge.
Yeah.
One of the reasons is to double the size of the weight. There may be run into some problems, redoing those brackets, and can the bridge actually support it? So we wanted to take first step before we went and analyzed the bridge or had the bridge consultant do that. So we want to proceed in a, step-by-step fashion, so.
So you're talking about putting it right alongside but not connected to the bridge?
Well, it would,
Third option?
Well, the third option would be, there just would not be a crossing at all. That would be eliminated.
Oh.
There's currently 3 crossings of the river. There's 2 12-inch pipes and this 6-inch pipe. So what we talked about is if this 6-inch pipe went away and we had 2 crossings, would that be adequate? Well, it would be adequate, but it would not be ideal. We would like the third crossing basically as a backup to the other 2.
Right.
But if it came down to we couldn't do it and it would take, a large investment in redoing the bridge, we'd have to at least consider that and weigh the pros and the cons.
Any other questions? Well, I'd like to see a motion then to provide a feasibility study for the water main crossing.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Mattson and a second by Bringle to reach agreement with WHKS for a feasibility study on the water main crossing. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Bill. Okay. Next item is S&S Investments Property, breach of contract. Laura, are you out there?
Yes, she is.
I am. Hello.
You want to turn up your volume a little bit?
Oh, sure. Is that better?
I think it's at our end.
Well, maybe it's on our end.
I think it's on our end. That's not helpful.
Is this better?
Yeah, if we listen.
We barely hear you, but
We listen.
I have to shout.
No, you're okay now. That was okay.
Okay. Okay. So back in 2012, Scott Schultz of S&S Investment Properties had made a contract for deed with the city of Cannon Falls for 2 properties that were adjacent to his existing business, which was Robinson Outdoors at the time. And over that time, he's made his payments, sometimes needing a little nudge, but paid for the property in full. However, in late May of 2020, Dave Maroney, our former city administrator and EDA director, had received a letter from Schultz including the property tax statements for the 2 properties. And he basically said that he's paid for it in full and he would like to be reimbursed for that property. He doesn't want the properties anymore. One of the parts of the contract for deed was he was supposed to be building a 30,000 square foot structure on those properties, which he never did. And he had been keeping current on the property taxes as well up until 2020, which again was also part of the contract to keep the taxes current. So in July, we'd reached out to Campbell Knutson, our attorney, and had them review the contract, had them review the letter that we received from Schultz, and asked us to provide us with some options as far as what kind of action we could take. There were a couple different options. One of them would be to waive the construction requirement of the contract. The city would need to pay the 2020 taxes, and we could transfer the deed to SNS Properties to be recorded. Option 2 would be to cancel the contract for deed for breach of contract, for failure of not constructing, and also not keeping the property taxes current. City would pay the taxes. The city would take the property back, and we would pay the taxes going forward until we sold that property. The other option is to do nothing. Property would go into default, and most likely the county would take the property. So we discussed this in our EDA meeting. Now, technically, this is not an EDA property. This is a city-owned property. And we did bring it to the Finance Committee to review this last week. And their recommendation was option number 2, to cancel the contract for breach of contract for failure of construction and not paying the taxes, and to take the property back. So with that, I guess wondering if there's any questions. Action would be to lean on council to make a motion to either support that option number 2 or have another recommendation.
Any discussion on that?
Was the sale was contingent on him building a warehouse? So
That is correct.
did he got maybe a little better deal on the property because of that? And now doesn't want the property, and he thinks that we should buy it back.
And pay back taxes.
In my opinion, he got a good deal on the land. And, it's clearly in the contract. He's in default of the contract by not building on it, so.
Yeah, unfortunately, as John here knows, when you get foreclosed on, you don't get your payments back from the bank.
What?
You don't. I know. Maybe you did, but it's not the way it works. So we've got to take the property.
Also, since he didn't pay the taxes in April or whatever, and they're due now,
Right.
we're responsible for the taxes, or it'll go into foreclosure or something. But because it's under the city's name,
Right.
we'd be stuck.
We're stuck anyway.
So
we may as well.
We might just as well go through it, and that's it.
Anybody else?
I'm just going to make a motion to accept the option 2, which is to cancel the contract for deed for breach of contract.
I'll second.
Pay the taxes.
Yep.
Yeah,
we got to
everything
this
in
year.
option 2.
Yep.
Okay, there's been a motion on the floor. Option 2 to cancel the contract for deed.
Second.
And a second by Bringold.
Yep.
Oh.
Is there any more discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Item H is pool repairs. Neil, you want to take that one?
Sure. We've been working on the pool on and off for a couple of months now, and staff has done a great job working on the splash pad and the main pool. And as of last Friday, they have both of them up and operational. All the pipes have been fixed, the pumps have been repaired, and that is good to go for next summer. I got 2 pool restoration companies to take a look at the vessel in the pool, and I had both of them out there walking the bottom and checking it all out. And one of them was not interested in making the repair. He was too busy. The other one, Northern Pool and Restoration, did send us a quote. And you'll find in your packet there a quote for $92,233. With that said, they will do all the repairs. They'll fix the cracks. They'll epoxy paint the pool 2 coats, and take off all the concrete that's loose. So they're going to do a nice job. I asked them that if they could make a 10-year repair out of it, and he was pretty confident. He's not going to guarantee you that. The pool will probably need to be repainted somewhere in between the 5 to 7 range if it starts to look a little tacky. How are we going to pay for that? Well, this year, we levied $69,000 to run the pool. Well, the pool never opened, so that money is still in the account. So we'll use that, and we'll use some of our reserves to use the rest of it. Now, they did fix a pump. I don't have the dollar cost on the pump, but that's where most of the money for the repair will come from. And then that pool should be fully functional and able to be started up in June. When I talked to him, I asked him when he could get started if this was approved. And they said they could get here by next week.
Oh.
So to do partial repairs, they won't paint it this year. They'll get a lot of the stuff done, the cracks filled, and et cetera, et cetera. It was brought to the park board. They made a recommendation to go ahead with the quote. They were all in favor of that. So now it's on to the city council for discussion and approval if need be.
Any discussion? I thought a lot of money, but it's going to get the job done.
Well, and most of it's already sitting there because we
Yeah.
didn't spend it this year, so.
Yeah, the budgeted money wasn't even spent this
Right.
year. Right.
I'll make a motion, John.
To go ahead. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I'll second.
Oh, let Matt second.
Okay. Motion by Mattson and a second by Montgomery to approve the quote from Northern Pool Restoration for $92,233 for repairing and painting the main pool vessel. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's get into reports. Kyle, Chamber, anything?
Good evening, City Council members and the Cannon Falls community. I have exciting news that we will be holding the Halloween Trick or Treat Trot on Friday, October 30th, from 3 to 5 p.m. And right now, we have 20 of our chamber members signed up to pass out candy. They are coming up with very unique ways of just getting the candy to the children without having to touch it, such as tongs, money tubes, a chute, those kinds of things. And so all of the vendors will be wearing masks and gloves, and we're looking forward to a great crowd that evening. We did expand it from a 1-hour event to a 2-hour event that will hopefully spread the crowd out. And then we also are going to be having the families traveling in one direction around the streets. So that way we don't get the congestion of the families and children going face to face. It'll all go counterclockwise. And so we are looking for volunteers to help us on those intersections to keep that going forward. Of course, the Goodhue County grants, the United Way will have a deadline of October 14th. And on Thursday, October 8th, Laura Qualley will be doing a go-to meeting, which is kind of like a Zoom meeting, just a different program, and she'll be talking about that program again. That deadline is October 31st. There is still a lot of money out there to be had. And so please sign up for those. Then the other exciting news is our, where is it? We are going forward with Deck the Falls. Deck the Falls is the Christmas holiday event after Thanksgiving, and so it is scheduled for November 28th. The parade will begin at 5 p.m. We will have the lighting of the tree, but no ceremony. There will be no drawings for prizes because we just can't have that crowd in the city parking lot. We will be doing the lighting of the tree, followed by the fireworks. And so we are hoping the people stay in their vehicles to keep the social distancing, but yet still enjoy the great fireworks. And we've been hearing all year how everyone enjoyed the fireworks, even from their homes in Cannon Falls. And so those are the events that we've got coming up. So we're excited to have events because these are, the second and the third event that the Chamber's putting on this year. And so we hope the public comes out and supports us. Are there any other questions?
Thanks, Kyle.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, Joint Powers Trail Board, Mary Jill or Matt? Anything there?
No.
No.
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nope, nothing for me either.
Okay. Finance Committee, Mary Jill?
Well, a lot of our handiwork was addressed tonight, where we dealt with the committees and commissions that needed to be codified. And then, of course, we talked about along with the park board, we talked about the pool repairs, and a lot of the stuff's on here tonight, so I don't think there's a whole lot more to talk about.
Park Board too, that's also on here.
But yeah, it was the pool. That's
Yeah.
basically all we talked about, I think, Matt.
Anything there, Matt? Park Board?
Nope, Mary Jill's right. The majority was talking about the pool, and I'm glad we were able to pass that tonight. It should be a good 5 to 10 year fix. Give us plenty of time to plan for the future responsibly. But that was the majority of the Park Board. A little bit of talk about looking forward with a long vision plan of improving our parks, and so we're going to probably set a winter meeting here probably in November or early December and talk about looking forward our goals for all of our parks.
Very good. Okay, let's go around the horn. Bill, you have anything you want to add tonight?
No, thanks.
Okay.
Nothing additional.
Okay. Jeff? Nothing? Neil? Nothing? Morris?
Nothing.
Mary Jill?
Nothing.
Bill?
Nope.
Steve?
Just one thing, Cannon Bells is officially starting to dig today for their facility out there in Industrial Park. And I didn't get out to the big dig, but I drove by there after work, and they're moving a lot of dirt out there, so that'll be fun watching that go. That's all.
Yeah, we were out there. A few of us were out there for the groundbreaking, so we got that That was kind of nice out there today. Derek, anything?
Nope, nothing.
I don't have anything either, so we'll get right into public input. Citizens may speak to issues not on the agenda. For speaking, please give your name and address for the record, and kindly limit your comments to 3 minutes. Public comments must be respectful, pertinent to city business, and adhere to applicable data privacy rules. The city council will not take action on any issue raised by the public, but may choose to schedule consideration of the item on a future agenda. Public input.
Really quick, I had an issue at the library that I would like, I'll just jump right to the part where it's, that you may choose to schedule consideration of the item on a future agenda. I guess there's only 2 options. We've been talking a lot of options today, or I've heard options. It seems to me option 1 is to have due process, and option 2 would be due process. So I don't know what, it was brought to the attention of the city hall. I talked to Ellen, she passed the message to Neil, I believe, and Neil contacted the library director, which this has to do with her, so. Any questions?
No, right, yeah.
Matt, no?
No.
Will you be able to tell me if you chose to reschedule for a?
All I can say is you'll probably hear about it. It's probably something will be in next.
The answer is no, you won't choose now to schedule.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
We don't know what you need.
Yeah.
Neil knows.
Well, but we don't. I mean, there's no way we can schedule anything. We don't know if you want an action to be taken. You just said due
Well,
process. That's not a thing.
I guess I'll go through, I'd probably have to make a letter or something in writing to
That'd be
their
good,
complaint.
yeah.
Do they got a complaint form that I submit? How, would I be able to get that today? Or tomorrow? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, public input. Public input. Third and final call, public input. Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
No, we have to do number
Oh.
9, don't we?
We're going to adjourn this meeting.
We
then.
have to, we're not adjourning.
Okay,
Move into a closed session.
okay. Then we'll just take a 10-minute recess and clear the chambers, and we'll move into closed session.
Okay.
Was subject to the council's authority pursuant to Minnesota statute 13D-05 subdivision 2, parentheses B. Okay,
Okay,
So did you actually make a motion, so someone needs to second it?
Somebody needs a motion.
Because you read that you made a motion.
I'll make a motion to go to closed session.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Yep.
We'll take in 5.
That's awfully hard to do, all that. That's hard to do.